Hello, I'm Erik Robey.
And I'm Carolyn Ryan. Welcome to Anne Arundel County Week in Review. Today we'll see how Public Works is fixing our streams, and we'll tell you where the jobs are. But first, making headlines this week, our county police department has taken a bite out of crime once again. For the third year in a row, serious crime dropped by a pretty impressive margin. The data is compiled every year for the FBI and reports serious crimes such as homicide, sexual assaults, robberies, and aggravated assaults. Between 2010 and 2011, Anne Arundel County recorded an 8.7% reduction in these crimes. Now, in case you're keeping track at home, there's actually been a 16% decrease in serious crimes over the last 10 years. Other than the homicide rate, which still remained typically low in Anne Arundel County, every major category went down. There were 44 fewer robberies, a decrease of 8%, 141 fewer assaults, a decrease of 7%, 589 fewer burglaries, a decrease of 22%, and 362 fewer cars stolen, a decrease of 32%. Police Chief James Tier Sr. and County Executive Leopold credited several factors for the decline, including targeting repeat crime locations, installing streetlights, increased awareness by community groups, and the use of real-time crime data. Here at Week in Review, we see the dedicated work of our police officers every day, and we want to thank them for their great work. They really do a great job.
Well, that's a good segue into that, Carolyn. They do a wonderful job, and it was great. I was honored this week to be able to go out and see firsthand and hear some of the stories, the guys and gals going above and beyond the call of duty and really making a difference in people's lives. So great job to all of our county police officers out there for getting the job done day in and day out. Well, let's turn to another pressing issue of the day, Carolyn. Flash mobs. And what is a flash mob, you ask? I'm glad you asked. I actually consulted the Urban Dictionary on this one. A flash mob is when a group of people appear from out of nowhere to perform predetermined actions designed to amuse and confuse surrounding people. The group performs these actions for a short amount of time before quickly dispersing. Flash mobs are often organized through email, Facebook, or newsgroup postings. This week, a Zumba class took over the Nordstrom at Annapolis Mall. Let's take a look. Nice job by the folks at Premier Fitness on that one. We looked around and found quite a few flash mobs around town. The Annapolis Mall had another one a few weeks ago when the Teelan School of Irish did some St. Patrick's flash mobbing. Some of the kids at Belle Grove Elementary School did it at Glen Burnie Mall, and even a group of teens called the Daybreakers did it at Arundel Mills Mall. They like to dress up like vampires.
Well, let's move on to our next segment before a flash mob breaks out in here.
Yeah.
We have a guest correspondent this week. Nancy Schrum from Councilman Fink's office is out at Chesapeake High School for a presentation every teen needs to see before prom season kicks in. Nancy?
I'm here today to kick off with some of our friends a school-wide campaign on teen safe driving at Chesapeake High School. We're fortunate enough to have formed a committee with teacher Jennifer Bender, AP psychology teacher here at Chesapeake, and the SAD advisor, Kathy Gillen from the Maryland Teen Safe Driving Coalition, Tyler Presnell, who's here all the way from Portland, Oregon to share a story with us, and Zach, a student here at Chesapeake, who participates in the SAD chapter. So with that, I'd like to introduce Kathy Gillen of the Maryland Safe Teen Driving Coalition and ask Kathy just a quick question on, with the work of the coalition, could you tell us a little about that work and how we can keep our kids safe?
Sure. The Maryland State Teen Driving Safety Coalition is sponsored by the National Safety Council and the All-State Foundation. And May is National Youth Traffic Safety Month, so we are doing events across the state, across the month of May. And we're here to just educate the kids about, the dangers of not driving safely and tell them how to drive safely, but in a fun way that the teens can relate to.
Well, Kathy, it's been a pleasure, and we're so glad that you agreed to partner with Chesapeake High School. Thank you very much. And here we have Tyler Presnell, our guest speaker today for the school assembly. And I'd like to say, Tyler, you reached 1,600 children today. Yeah. And we're really appreciative that you took the invitation to travel all the way from Portland to share your story.
Thank you for the invitation. Are you kidding me? This is great.
So could you tell us what kind of feedback do the kids give you after they hear your story?
Thank you. I haven't heard anything like that. Thank you for getting on our level. Thank you for relating to us. Thank you for giving me the strength I needed, because I do walk alone. I am made fun of. I don't have a voice. I've been in a car with someone and I didn't speak up when they drove crazy. So thanks for giving me that strength to stick up for myself, Tyler.
Well,
I get that a lot.
That's real good to hear, because we've all been teenagers.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And we know how thick we can be in the way of accepting what adults want to speak, how they want to speak to us and tell us what to do.
Oh, yeah.
So I think today that your story did reach a lot of young people, and again, we're really appreciative to have you, and I hope that we will follow you in the work that you have ahead of you.
I hope so too. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Jennifer Bender, we're so fortunate to have Miss Bender here at Chesapeake High School. She does a lot of good work on behalf of the students through just being the teacher that she is, and the work through the SAD chapter. So Jennifer, now that we kicked off the campaign for teen safety driving today with having Tyler here, what other great activities do you have planned for the students this month?
Well, Chesapeake is very good about participating in a variety of different things. This month we are doing our statistics on morning announcements. Our students participate in a Grim Reaper walk, which is kind of a day of silence identifying the statistics of how every 33 seconds somebody is injured in an accident in some capacity or another. Our kids will also be leading a student-led advisory next Friday in the school that they have put together a montage of learning how to be good drivers, safe and responsible teenagers, and to make good choices.
Great. So again, I want to thank you on behalf of the Chesapeake community, the parents. I'm a past parent. Thank you for what you do, because you're a special lady.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Zach. Zach is a student member of the Chesapeake chapter, works very closely with Miss Bender. Zach, can you be a voice today for the kids? What do you think that you and your friends took away from today's assembly?
I think everyone just took away the story and how their lives themselves could impact someone like that. Like, lots of people drive crazy. You can watch people leaving the parking lot and you can tell that. And I think they'll be able to realize when they get behind the driver's seat, they cut somebody off. They go, oh, I'm that guy. I don't want to be that driver. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be the person who caused someone to have a brain injury like that.
Well, do you think that maybe through the halls of Chesapeake, kids will be talking about what they experienced today?
Definitely. I think people will be speaking about it. I actually walked out of here a few minutes ago, and I heard everybody in the cafeteria talking about it, how they wanted to see more meetings like this and everything. So I think it was good.
Well, thank you very much, and I know you're a senior. Good luck, and
thank you very much.
Remember, your life is just starting.
Yeah.
And good luck to you. Erik, this is Nancy Strom from Chesapeake High School. Back to you.
Thanks, Nancy. It's really tough to hear stories like that, but hopefully it will make kids think twice before doing something that can hurt them for the rest of their lives. We want to thank Tyler Presnell for sharing his story. Everybody, be safe out there this year.
Well, folks, there's more Week in Review to come, including our interview with Kirk Murray about Back to Work Week. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you are really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
And welcome back, folks. Well, next week is a big week coming up here in Anne Arundel County and all over the state. It's back to work week, and we thought there's nobody more fitting to talk about going back to work and getting a job and the employment situation here in Anne Arundel County than the jobs guy, our own Kirk Murray, the CEO and president of Anne Arundel County Workforce Development. Kirk, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Eric. Thanks for inviting me back.
And we had that new title added in there for you, the jobs guy.
The jobs guy. I'm the jobs guy. Okay.
Kirk, tell us a little bit about what workforce development does. We have a great economy here in the county. We're blessed to be right nestled in between Baltimore City and Washington, D.C. We've got a lot of activity out there in the West County with Fort Meade and BRAC and the defense contractors.
Correct. But
what does it really mean? What do you do and your staff as our Workforce Development Corporation?
Well, Anne Arundel Workforce Development Corporation is the county's workforce agency. We work with both businesses and job seekers to do that match, to make sure that businesses here in Anne Arundel County have that competitive edge by making sure they have a highly skilled workforce. We also work with Anne Arundel County residents who are either dislocated workers or transitioning, or youth who are just entering the job field, to make sure that they have that competitive edge, to make sure that they know what employers are looking for, making sure they have the skills, both the technical skills and the soft skills, to meet the needs of Anne Arundel County businesses. You're right, here in Anne Arundel County we are blessed. As of yesterday, there were 13,000 job openings alone just in Anne Arundel County. So now it's our job to make sure that that the Anne Arundel County residents have those skills there in line with those job openings.
And let's talk a little bit about this 13,000 jobs. It seems like a big number. It seems like there's a lot of opportunities out there. You know, folks have been struggling. You know, we've heard stories of people being out of work for 6 months, a year and a half, 2 years even. And there's 13,000 jobs out there for the taking.
There are 13,000 jobs out there for the taking, but there are 18,000 Anne Arundel County residents who are unemployed. And the thing is to make sure that you have that competitive edge, that you have those skills that that employer is looking for. For every job out there, there are 5 or 6 qualified applicants that that employer can choose from. So it's our job to make sure that the people who are working with us, the customers who come into one of our 7 career centers, they get the skills, they get that edge to make their resume look pop, so that that employer sees that they have the skills, that they know how to look at the employer and do well in that interview and impress that employer.
Now, when you're talking about getting them those skills, tell us a little bit about what Back to Work Week is.
Well, Back to Work Week is a week-long series of workshops targeted to job seekers at all levels, entry level, the mid-level, and our advanced career job seekers who are looking to get back to work. We're trying to prepare them for the job fair that's going to be at Fort Meade on May 23rd. There are 87 employers who are going to be there looking to hire people. So we want to make sure our clients and Anne Arundel County residents have those skills. They know how to work that job fair. They make sure their resume is tight and really shows what they have to offer that employer. We want to show them how to map. A lot of people who have been unemployed for a while, like Erik mentioned, some of them are coming from industries that aren't coming back. So we show them how to show that the skills that you had in maybe one industry translate to another industry. As you know, that Anne Arundel Workforce Development Corporation is the lead for the $4.9 million U.S. labor grant for cyber. We've been putting people into training for cyber training to get them the certifications that are in demand in the cyber field. We're proud to announce that it was a 3-year grant that we were supposed to train 1,000 people. As of March, we had over 1,000 people that we have begun training. Out of that, even though it's long-term training and the majority of our people are still in training, the ones that have completed training have gone back to work. And they're going back for salaries starting at $30,000, but the highest salary I've seen is someone getting a salary up in $155,000 in the IT field. So it's a great opportunity for Anne Arundel County residents to get the skills that they need to match the needs of the employers.
Now, Back to Work Week, where throughout the county are these locations where people can go and get this training?
Well, they're workshops. They're spread out throughout the county. They're here in our Glen Burnie One Stop located up here in the county building in Glen Burnie. We have our Arnold One Stop, which is located in Arnold Station right on Route 2. We have some that are going to be in Severna Park. So what we do is we ask people to go to our website, www.aawdc.org. And on our website is a list of all the different workshops we're offering with the times and locations, and they can register. We feel that these workshops are going to sell out, so we ask people to go and sign up. Now, sell out, but these are free workshops. These are free to the citizens here of Anne Arundel County.
And that's pretty important, Kirk. I think most of what you guys do at Anne Arundel Workforce Development Corporation, it's a service that we provide to the citizens, and there's not a great cost involved in any of these programs. Am I correct in saying that?
You're 100% correct in that. There is no cost for the services that we provide to the citizens of Anne Arundel County. All this is supported by federal dollars, state dollars, and county dollars. Anne Arundel County, our county exec, has doubled the funding to Anne Arundel Workforce Development Corporation in the last several years to make sure that these services that we have are free to Anne Arundel County residents.
And let's talk about this. Let's end with this because it's Jobs Week. I want everybody to keep that in mind. Kirk said something very important. Next Wednesday, Wednesday, May 23rd, a big job fair out at Fort Meade. 87 employers out there, a lot of jobs to be had, a lot of those 13,000 jobs we talked about. Hopefully we'll find some qualified applicants in there. But Kirk, I want to end with one thing here. If a lot of folks out there seeking jobs now, what's one thing you or your staff could tell them that's really going to make a difference on their career search?
The main thing is make sure that you have a good resume that really distinguishes you from the other person, that highlights what you're going to bring to that employer. What we teach our customers is to look as if you were an employer. If you were an employer looking to hire someone, what would you be looking for? And how do you distinguish yourself from someone else? One of the things that we're doing in one of our workshops that we're most proud of is employer panels. We have 3 employer panels going on. So you can come in, you can listen to what businesses say they're looking for, and then go home and get your resume lined up to what you just heard. So we encourage you to come out to all of our workshops, but definitely those employer panels. We have employers from all different industries that'll be there to tell you what they're looking for. So you know exactly what the employer is looking for. Put yourself in that employer's shoes and say, what would I want to see? And get your resume in there and go out there with that positive attitude, dress correctly. Don't come out there in flip-flops and beachwear. I know we're in Anne Arundel County, we're right there on the water, and we like our water here in Anne Arundel County, but you need to put on that suit and tie and that dress and come out there with that positive attitude.
Unless they're applying to be a commercial crabberman, right?
Even then, you still should put on your best polo shirt.
Kirk Murray, folks, Anne Arundel County Workforce Development, a lot of great tips, and back to work week's coming up, folks. So get out there and get back to work. A lot of great jobs out there, 13,000 to be exact, to be had for the right applicants. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, there'll be more Week in Review. Stay with us.
Separate raw meats from other foods by using different cutting boards. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back. Well, we're starting a new environmental series this week on the show, and for the first installment, Jody Letty is out at Cypress Creek to find out plans the county has to bring a barren area back to life. Jody.
Hi, I'm Jody Letty, and today I'm here in Severna Park with Mr. Dennis McGonigal, and he's going to tell us all about the
North Cypress Branch Stream Restoration Project.
Thank you. The North Cypress Branch Stream Restoration Project. I knew I wouldn't get it right, so I needed a little help there. And I guess the county does these projects. He's going to tell us all about this one, how it works, the funding sources, the benefits of the project, and then we'll get some nice shots of the stream here that is going to be improved. So tell us all about it, Dennis.
Okay, we're standing right now in the area on this pier here is right where the large pond is here. There's senior housing up the hill above us, single family homes behind us up the hill. So we're in a valley system, which is where the streams run. And basically where we're standing here is going to be part of a headwater wetland complex. So the headwater wetland will actually go beyond this pier about another 150 feet and all the way up to Ritchie Highway. That entire area will be excavated out and create shallow wetland systems with some deep pools, and that's for water quality benefit and to handle velocity issues for water running through the stream system. So the reason we're doing this is because streams in Anne Arundel County are not like streams in Cumberland or Western Maryland where there's a lot of rock in the invert. They're basically sand, silt, or clay. This particular one is mostly legacy sediments, which means over time sediment from the upland areas has settled in this valley system, and the stream has cut through that because the impervious area. That's where people park, rooftops, schools, shopping centers. All that water, when it hits those areas, goes into pipe systems and basically is delivered to the stream systems. And the streams can't handle that kind of energy because they're natural systems, and so what happens is these streams get eroded. The program itself that we're working with here to build this stream system originally started with a dredging program for Anne Arundel County. So we were looking at trying to figure out a way to keep sediment from moving to the channels where the boating community was using it or watermen were using the rivers. So that drove us up into the drainage area to find out where the sediment sources were. One of the larger sediment sources are the stream channels because the erosion coming out of the pipe systems and the energy delivered to the stream mobilizes the sediment in the valley systems, and it moves down to the wetlands in the tidal interface, and it clogs the channels, covers the subaquatic vegetation, and impacts the biological cycles of the creek systems.
Okay. That's all very technical.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. So what's it going to look like from a layman's perspective? What's it going to look like when you're finished?
Okay, well, in this area here, you can see it's kind of a forested corridor, and I guess I can sit this down now. What we'll be doing is, obviously, when you excavate, a lot of these trees that are in the valley bottom are going to have to be removed because we're going to actually create a lower area back in here. Most of the excavations is up closer to Ritchie Highway. As you work down this way, the invert, there's going to be a large landform in this area that's going to stretch across the valley system and create a higher elevation, so the slope from Ritchie Highway to here will be flattened out. When the slope is flattened out, you're going to have a saturated system of a pool of water that will, in the shallow areas, will have vegetation such as arrowroot and subaquatic vegetation that's generated, maybe lily pads, those types of things. And then as you move to the deeper pools, those will just be open water systems. So it'll be just, you'll see water there. Okay. In the spring, wetland systems typically have a lot of blooming plants, and so you'll have a lot of potential areas where there'll be flowered plants, that type of thing. If we plant blue flag iris along the edges there, you'll see a lot of blooms. People are typically fairly familiar with irises. Most of the other wetland plants, probably not as familiar with, but you'll see them in bloom in the area. So we're trying to, the whole idea with stream restoration is try to come back to a natural system that can withstand some of the man-made impacts, the velocities, the flashiness of the rain, is the main problems with the stream systems unraveling.
Okay. Now this sounds pretty complex. How long of a process is this project?
Well, according to the schedule, they're going to be working up in this wetland area for about, creating this headwater wetland for about 4 months. Okay. So you'll see heavy equipment up in this area, mobilizing, excavating, and hauling material off. The next step is once we build this landform on the other side of it, we've got to get the stream back down to the channel, so there'll be a step pool system. The step pool will basically be an armored step pool system, which means there's, just like its name indicates, there's pools, and then there's rock runs where the water moves faster. So the water hits the pool, it slows down, hits the rock, moves faster, and it's stepped down to meet the invert of the channel that we're building below. So once we come out of the step pool system, we go to a braided system, which is what you would normally see in Anne Arundel County if the streams weren't so heavily impacted. So braided means there's multiple channels, whereas you can see here there's one channel. There, as we work our way downstream, there'll be 3 to 5 channels that network through the wetland that the stream system we create. Then we go to a system, as you're getting closer to the tidal interface, which will be larger pools, much larger pools with still weirs, but the pools I was explaining to you earlier that are up in this area are armored, so they're all stone. Okay. When you work your way down, the pools will not be armored, they'll just be earthen pools. They'll be armoring where the weirs drop the water into the pools. So there's several large pools that'll go downstream, and then ultimately we create what we call a tidal gut, which is basically just a channel that's tidally influenced. So as the tide raises and lowers out in Cypress Creek, it will be working this tidal gut area, which is basically a single channel area down towards the tidal interface.
Okay. That's fascinating. That's a lot of information, so thank you. And what is the funding source? Is this Anne Arundel County money?
Well, a lot of, in this particular job, we have the state is giving us, I think, in the area of $600,000. We have MDE giving us $400,000 to $500,000, and then the rest of it is county bond money. So we make up a little over $1 million in grant money, and then we're dealing with bonds being sold that basically pay for the rest of it. So it's county-generated money. So our partnerships are both with the TEP grant, which is an SHA-driven grant, Federal Highway Administration, and also an MDE grant for water quality improvements from Maryland Department of Environment. So there's 3 people paying for this, I guess is the way you could look at it: Anne Arundel County, the state, and the federal government.
Great. Definitely a worthwhile project. How many of these do you do per year usually, or how many are going on at a time?
Well, this one's about 300 linear feet, which is a large project for us. Okay. So a large project, usually you have maybe 1 or 2 a year. Okay. And as we progress and we get more funding sources, that might increase the number that you put in. But I would say normal year historically, we probably put 1 of these projects in, but what I anticipate in the future is that'll be at least 2, maybe 3 going in. We have on the boards probably 9 projects that'll be built between the summer of this year and into next year, about this time next year, maybe going into the fall. There's a potential for 9 projects to get underway. Whether all of them get completed or not is hard to say. The bulk of them will, but maybe not all of them. This particular one is supposed to run close to a year. Okay. So this time next year we'll be looking at the completion of this project.
Okay. Well, speaking of that, we'd love to come back when it's in the middle of the project and have you tell us a little bit about what's going on during the project, if you'd be willing to come back and do another segment.
Yeah, sure. Okay, that'd be fun.
Great. And you definitely sound like you know what you're doing, Dennis. How long have you been with the county?
31 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
But I haven't been doing this for 31 years. I've been, actually I was on the other end. I started off putting storm drainage and roads in, and now the bulk of my work probably is stream restoration.
Well, it seems like a great job to have. It's very beautiful out here.
Yeah, this time of year it's nice.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being here, and we'll maybe do a phased couple more segments when the project's going on, and then maybe when it's complete, we'll do another one if you're willing to come back.
I'll keep you notified.
Okay, great. Thanks for being here.
Okay.
And back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Jody. These projects are small in scope, but they make a difference in helping restore the bay. In the next installment, Jody will show us a completed project so our viewers can see an ecosystem after one of these jump starts occur.
And speaking of jump starts, Severn got one in the form of a federal grant this week from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. The People's Community Health Center won a $5 million grant to build a health clinic, dental clinic, and recreation center at Van Bocklin Elementary School on Reese Road. Now there's still more to do before the project can become a reality. The total cost is $9 million, and the group still has to submit a site development plan to get started. We'll keep you posted.
Carolyn, have you been out to a senior center lately? I know I'm not calling you old, I'm just saying, hey, have you visited one of our many senior centers?
They're great places.
They really are. A lot of classes, a lot of camaraderie, cards. I want to go and play cards with these folks, but you know.
Bingo, how about that?
I'm not so good at bingo. I want to play cards. Well, our own Mary Felter has been out to the Senior Center, and she's here with a preview of events coming up at the Annapolis Senior Center, which of course is one of our largest in the county. Mary.
Thank you. First, I want to tell you that we're celebrating May is Older Americans Month at the Anne Arundel County Department of Aging and Disabilities. And there are 94,441 seniors in Anne Arundel County. There's about 52,000 women and 42,000 men. So the guys have got a really good advantage here. And so we're going to be celebrating it with lots of different activities, and I thought I'd come over to the Annapolis Senior Center so we could talk to the director, who's Becky Batta, and find out a little bit about how they're celebrating May is Older Americans Month. Welcome to the program, Becky.
Thanks for having me.
During the month, we have lots of different activities that are happening, and we are going off of the theme that you're never too old to play. And I thought perhaps playing at a rec center would be a good idea, a senior activity center, and also talk about the important role that volunteers play in the community, and we have a lot of seniors who do that. So what sort of activities do you have coming up?
On May 16th, we have a rock and roll band. It's called Still Kickin', which we kind of think fits the senior center, still kicking after all these years. And it has members Harry and Francine Lattimore and Chuck Moore are members of the center also in the band. And they play 60s, 70s rock and roll music and get the seniors up and dancing.
Are they doing that as volunteers, or are they doing it for just fun, or?
They're doing it as volunteers, as a payback to the center. It's also will be Member Appreciation Day. We'll be selling T-shirts and cookbooks, and just generally thanking everyone for being part of our playground.
You do have a lot of volunteers here. You have Volunteer Advisory Board, and these are all seniors that are providing their time and talents. What other sort of things do volunteers do here?
We have volunteers that work at the snack bar. We have them at the front desk, and those that help with special events. And of course our advisory board and our new 501c3 that supports the center, they're also all volunteers.
And I understand that if you're active, you're going to stay healthier. It's a long-range benefit. So we do encourage people to sign up to be volunteers at senior centers and other activities. What other things are you going to be doing? You're signing up people, aren't you, for some classes?
Yes, the summer registration, which starts the week of July 2nd, is going on right now with the community college classes. We also have several classes that the community college classes, there's a cycle fee involved. It's $80 for 10 weeks, and they can take as many classes as they like if they're over 60 years old. And we also have several free classes that are sponsored by the center, along with our entertainment and various activities and parties that occur at the center.
Yeah, you have a Mother's Day tea, and you also have a Cinco de Mayo party that you just had, and you also have got another concert coming up at the end of the month. The retired teachers are going to sing too.
Yes, this is a 30-member chorus, mainly retired educators, and they're coming in. They have a tribute to Memorial Day.
Well, I'm sure that people are going to have a good time if they come to the center. And what do they do if they want to sign up? How about a membership? Tell me a little bit about it.
Okay. Membership is for those 55 and better, older, and they can do that by coming into the center and filling out an application. The membership is free, and we will take their picture and give them a key tag, and they'll be an active member and eligible for all the things that we offer.
That includes a nutritious meal that's free every day at noontime for people aged 60 and older. And if you're 55 and 59, there's a fee for that, correct?
That's correct. I believe it's like $4, around $4.
And it's a hot meal.
Yes.
And the other thing we want to tell you about, there is free van transportation from your home to the closest senior center that you're going to be signed up at. And if you're a member at one senior center, you're a member of all the senior centers. So we encourage people to sign up. You can call Becky here, and your number is
410-222-1818.
And the webpage is www.aacounty.org/aging. Scroll down to the Senior Center section near the bottom of the webpage and click on the center of your interest. Thank you very much for coming on the program today and talking about Maryland is Older Americans Month and the activities at your center.
Thank you very much.
This is Mary Felter, Public Information Officer for the Anne Arundel County Department of Aging and Disabilities. Back to the studio.
Thanks, Mary. That senior center is a really great example of the kinds of amenities Anne Arundel County has to offer. And guess what? It's all free. Go out there and enjoy it, folks.
This week, the Anne Arundel County Fire Department responded to more than 1,382 calls for service. This included more than 1,084 emergency medical calls and 78 fire calls. The beautiful weather and warm spring temperatures cast upon us this week created perfect conditions for people to be out and about. However, these conditions also made for a busy time for county firefighters who responded to a host of serious accidents in the county. With me now to tell us more about these incidents, Captain Jim Rostek of the Anne Arundel County Fire Department, who's filling in for Chief Cox this week. Captain?
Thanks, Carolyn. The first incident occurred around 10 o'clock Saturday, May 5th, 2012, when Anne Arundel County firefighters responded to a reported motor vehicle collision with entrapment in the area of Route 175 and Ridge Road in the Severn Jessup area of Anne Arundel County. The first unit's arrival on scene reported a single vehicle rollover accident. An assessment of the scene revealed that there was no entrapment. However, the driver, a 23-year-old male, suffered serious but non-life-threatening injuries. He was evaluated, treated, and transported by paramedics at the scene and ultimately transported to the University of Maryland's Shock Trauma Center in Baltimore via ground paramedic unit. In a second incident, the Anne Arundel County firefighters were again called to respond to a reported motor vehicle collision with a reported entrapment in the area of Ritchie Highway and Jones Station Road in the Severna Park area of the county. The first unit to arrive on the scene reported a two-vehicle collision with one vehicle in a ravine. Firefighters operated at the scene were able to quickly assess the patient, assisted them from the vehicle. The patient, who suffered serious but non-life-threatening injuries, was transported to the Anne Arundel Medical Center via ground paramedic unit in Annapolis. Carolyn?
Thanks, Captain. County law enforcement officials advised that both accidents caused temporary road closures and minor traffic delays.
Oh, it's a good thing there were minor traffic delays out there.
Yes.
Carolyn Ryan's back with us on the show, and no Franklin Chaney jokes, no Rick Anthony jokes.
No.
We're not gonna, no Ken
Franklin
Malden
would
jokes.
like to be on the show, though.
He wants to.
I think he was a little jealous that I was out here today again.
You think he wants to
So
co-host?
I think he does.
I think we should do that. I'm going to talk to producer Dave, and we're going to get the Franklin Chaney show, folks. That's going to be a riot
That would
to
be
have
great.
Franklin up here. Well, I got to tell you, Carolyn, it's mid-May. You're in charge of a lot of these summer camps out there, but a lot of things are happening. This is a busy time of year for folks in Anne Arundel County and Maryland. Lots of graduations, and I know you've got some coming up in your family.
Yes, my head is spinning right now. My son's turning 19, and both of my daughters are graduating from high school, all within about a 2-week time span. So it's really busy around my house. And prom.
And prom season,
Yes.
And what's on the minds of seniors right now? I mean, we heard from Kirk Murray today. The economy's starting to come back, jobs are starting to be out there, but what are kids really, I mean, your kids and maybe their friends, what are they thinking about right now? Are they thinking about having fun in the summer, or are they thinking about college and where they're going from there?
Well, my kids are actually in a really interesting situation. They all have jobs.
Oh, great.
And they all have been working jobs throughout the school year and everything. Great. So we've got, some in my family are thinking college, some are thinking senior week.
Mm-hmm. Senior week's very important. That's a good thought for these folks to have, as long as they be safe down there and
please.
Don't do anything that we wouldn't do here at Week in Review. Well, folks, that wraps up this week's edition of Week in Review. You can watch this episode online anytime at www.aacounty.org. Archive episodes are available at blip.tv and on YouTube. You can also subscribe to the free video podcast at iTunes, or like us. Go ahead and do that on Facebook at Arundel TV. Please tune in again next week for more news and highlights from around your county. We'll see you next time.